In what appears to be a pivotal chapter in the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine, Ukrainian forces have once again struck the Crimean Bridge, this time with devastating effect. The June 3 attack, reportedly executed with a new generation of Ukrainian aerial weaponry, caused significant structural damage beneath the bridge, potentially rendering it inoperable. The strike came just 48 hours after Ukraine launched Operation Spider Web, a surprise drone offensive that obliterated 41 Russian military aircraft, including high-value strategic bombers and early warning planes. According to estimates, the losses from this singular raid amount to a staggering $7 billion. More remarkable than the damage is the deliberate nature of the attacks. Ukrainian officials had all but declared their intentions months ago. In February, Ukrainian Navy Commander Alexei Naispapa openly stated that the Crimean Bridge would not survive the year, cryptically adding that he already knew how the operation would unfold. As of early June, that prophecy appears fulfilled. This latest destruction marks the third successful Ukrainian assault on what was once deemed an impenetrable asset by Moscow. The Crimean Bridge is far more than a piece of infrastructure. It is a national symbol. Spanning 19 kilometers across the Kerch Strait, the bridge links mainland Russia to Crimea, which was annexed in 2014. Personally championed by President Vladimir Putin, it represents both a logistical lifeline for the Russian military and a powerful emblem of Russia's claims over Crimea. For this reason, its repeated destruction is both a physical and psychological blow. Previous attacks, in October 2022 and July 2023, damaged the bridge and killed civilians, but the June 2024 strike appears to have severed its core structure entirely. Russian rhetoric about the bridge's defenses now rings hollow. Retired Russian Colonel Viktor Baranets once claimed that underwater sensors would detect any infiltration attempt. Yet Ukraine's evolving arsenal, including modified long-range drones and stealthy naval equipment, has consistently outmaneuvered Russian defenses. The once vaunted image of Russia's military invulnerability is being steadily dismantled, raid by raid. This vulnerability is compounded by deeper strategic flaws. On the front lines, Russian commanders admit they are playing catch-up against a Western-backed opponent. According to General Andreevich, Russian forces are essentially fighting NATO itself, as Ukrainian troops operate with real-time battlefield intelligence relayed from Western reconnaissance aircraft circling the Black Sea. The transparency of Russian troop movements has turned their tanks and armored columns into easy targets for Ukraine's low-cost drones, some built from commercially available parts. Russian troops have responded with makeshift countermeasures, such as draping nets over tanks, tactics that have earned derision online as battlefield performance art. These improvised defenses underscore the technological and tactical gap that has widened since the war began. Early in the invasion, Russia missed a critical opportunity to seize Kyiv, withdrawing unexpectedly and forfeiting momentum. Since then, a pattern has emerged: heavy-handed frontal assaults met with agile, targeted responses from Ukrainian forces. The Russian military has remained tethered to outdated doctrines that emphasize brute force over technological superiority. Ukraine, by contrast, has embraced a more modern, asymmetric approach, integrating electronic warfare, cyber tools, and precision targeting. The outcome is evident in operations like Spider Web, which saw Ukrainian drones fly nearly 4,000 kilometers to strike deep inside Siberia. The destroyed Tu-95 bombers were not just military hardware. They were key components of Russia's long-range strike capabilities. As Ukraine celebrates these victories, Russia faces logistical turmoil. The Crimean Bridge's collapse severely disrupts Russia's supply routes to the southern front. Although ferries and sea transport have been activated in response, their capacity falls far short of what is needed to move heavy military equipment. Ukraine's Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar has stated bluntly that the goal is to sever Russia's logistical arteries, and that mission appears well underway. Notably, these military actions have coincided with renewed diplomatic discussions. As Russian and Ukrainian delegates convened in Istanbul for fresh talks mediated by Turkey, Ukraine's battlefield wins added pressure on Moscow. Experts suggest that Ukraine is leveraging its military gains to extract concessions at the negotiating table. The timing was no accident, it was a calibrated message. How Russia will retaliate remains uncertain. Former President Dmitry Medvedev has issued ominous warnings about Judgment Day for those who strike the Crimean Bridge, but analysts are skeptical of any massive escalation. Still, signs of an imminent response are mounting. Following the June 1 attack on the Siberian airbase, Russia reportedly launched a night barrage of 472 drones and 7 missiles against Ukraine. Such retaliatory strikes may intensify, but they faced two major constraints: a stretched Russian front line and dwindling reserves of precision-guided munitions. The future shape of the conflict may depend on whether Moscow can adapt to the evolving demands of modern warfare. Ukraine's use of inexpensive yet effective drones, paired with real-time intelligence and a decentralized command structure, contrasts sharply with Russia's slow, centralized military bureaucracy. The wreckage of the Crimean Bridge remains a burning symbol of this disparity. In Istanbul, negotiators walk hallways thick with the smoke of fresh battlefield defeats. Ukraine's dual strikes, one targeting logistics, the other undermining strategic air power, have delivered a psychological shock to the Kremlin. More than a tactical victory, these operations signal a profound shift in the character of war. The age of massed armor and relentless bombardments is yielding to an era defined by precision, speed, and adaptability. Russia's long-revered military legacy is now confronting a future that looks less like the Cold War and more like Silicon Valley. And in that future, it is not the size of the arsenal but the sharpness of the strategy that determines survival.